All right. So the first question is essentially how do we benchmark and create what to benchmark for things like NCAC, LTV, all of that? Are there any specific metrics that you are more so looking at now than you did before? Because I
Mhm.
know that, the roundabout way that, we kind of just say NCAC, MER, LTV, and they all kind of just play in a circle kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff. I know that you were mentioning like add to carts inside of Facebook. That was something that you were watching a little bit more. But yeah, curious to see if there's any other things that you were benchmarking to sort of give you those early indicators and also how you educate the clients on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always the question of like, well, what's the goal? And you always want to start on what is the goal because that tells you or gives you a leading indicator as to what metrics are important to reach that goal. For example, I have a revenue target. Okay, so what's the revenue target? I need to make $1 million this year. Excellent. In order to make $1 million, we have to buy new customers, which means we have to buy new customers at a cost we're okay with, NCAC. And we also have to make sure that our campaigns are focused on more prospecting than remarketing. That's cold traffic. You're cold versus warm. And then we have to make sure that those people are being engaged omni-channel so that we don't have fall offs. Like I'm getting a whole bunch of first clicks here, then nothing's remarketing it. So then we're looking at an omni-channel spend levels and what those first click NCACs and last click NCACs are achieving. First click should be here, last click should be there. Benchmark. We'll go through that. But those are the areas that you have to look at. Now, if you're like, hey, I just need to get higher quality leads, that's different. I don't really have to measure MER. I have to measure the amount of projected revenue that we think that we're going to achieve. So we actually have to build in a lead scoring algorithm. So people with this household income living in these areas that say that they want to build a new, outdoor patio in the next 30 days versus like 1 year from now. You have to start to do weightings of those people, like how much weight is each type of person worth. And that's actually it's actually really interesting to see because I think.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because yeah, we're actually
Actually,
manipulating the algorithm too to do that for different types of leads, but we're not importing the exact numbers. We're just
mhm,
inflating it one versus the other, and it's working out really well in terms of the algorithm's eyes because it's like the same type of user that
mhm,
types in the same keyword, and so you can't really split the audiences, but we're splitting it with like weighted, values on each conversion. So that's
got
been
it.
really helpful, but kind of not the same thing you're mentioning, but somewhat similar.
Yeah, and I have a report here, or an algorithm that we actually built for lead scoring. And I was going to see if I can share it. Lead score model analysis. I think June, July, August, September. This should be it. Let me share screen. It's literally trying to load Google Sheets right now, and it is so slow. There we go. So this right here, like this is the like our lead score. So we have a coefficient, average weights, and the metrics. So we're like, okay, if your email provider is Yahoo, we actually pull out 0.49 of a point, and that's worth 1.58%. Now, if your email is Hotmail, you get -5. If your email is Outlook, we actually add 0.5. Like that we found out, like that's what a person's worth, depending upon if they have an Outlook, which is more professional, more affluent, versus a Yahoo or Hotmail, like kind of maybe a little bit less
Sorry if
quality.
you're on Yahoo or Hotmail.
I know, right? You're technically worth less to us. But that's what's kind of cool is we can see like, okay, if your timeline is, immediate to 1 month, we actually have a little bit less here and here. And then 6 months, like really bad, and 3 months are really bad. And then 1 year timeline, you're like, oh my God, you're 10% worse than everybody else because you're not going to pay us money for a year. So like this right here is like lead scoring. This will actually increase your lead quality based on if you're adjusting against these metrics and then importing fixed revenue against what these shoot out. So what's cool is like we can say like predicted versus actual, and we can say, okay, if we go to like this all the way end of 2023. Yeah, this is just like 2023 as an example. And it's like we have what we the difference in like essentially projected versus actual. And it's like, okay, we believe that we're going to get like a 1.38. It's like 4.69, 1.93. And it's like 3.74, 1.52, and 4.19. Obviously, it's like way off because we actually purposely said if they came from Meta, it's actually really bad. But Meta became really good after we updated it. Blah, 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 blah. It's a whole long ass story. But
Different
all this
benchmarks.
is to illustrate is what are you looking to benchmark and what is your goal that you need to achieve? That's the first two things that you need to ask yourself.